Hello world, welcome to Cybercrete, and today in this video we are going to discuss a popular question known as the product of array itself. And this is a very popular question, and this has been asked in Goldman Sachs and as well as in Facebook and Google. So let us look at this question. And if you are new to our channel, you can consider subscribing, and I create video related to programming and data science. And you can also follow me up on my Discord server and my Telegram link, where I will try to respond to your any questions or query that you have. So here in our question, we have given an array of nums of an integer where n is greater than 1, means we have at least one number in our array, and return an array output such that the output I is equal to the product of all the elements of num except the num of I. So here in the example, as you can see, like we have given the array 1, 2, 3, 4, and we have to output this 24, 12, 8 and 6. And you can see here this output for 1 we have 2 into 3 into 4, that is 24, that we have here. And for 2, we don't want to find the multiplication of the particular given number at the particular index, so we are not taking 2 here, so we are taking 1 into 3 into 4, that is 12. And for 3, we have to take everything other than 3. So for 3, we should not take 3, we are going to take 2, 1 and 4. So 4 and 4 we are 8, and we have 8 here. And for 4, we have to take 1, 2 and 3, and that is equal to 6. So we are trying to find the product of the array, like we have the element 1, 2, 3, 4. And when we are going to find the product of this first element, then we are not going to consider this first element. And then we are going to just find the product of all those remaining elements. So this question is from the leetcode, and here is the link where we are going to solve this problem. But let's see how we can solve this problem. Let us suppose that our given array is 1, 2, 3 and 4. And one of the most simplest way that you can do this question is that you are going to use two for loops, and you are going to just loop for first index. You are going to start from the very first index, and you are going to keep an array of answer, just call it as A, and then we are going to start our first loop. The first loop will point to our first element, and the next loop will point also to the same element 1. Both are pointing to 1. Then we are not going to find the product. If I and j, if I is equal to j, then we are not required to find the product. Only when I is not equal to j, we have to do the product. So first it will not do the product, then it will find the product of 2, it will take 2, then we can save it in product variable p. P will be p star into this element is equal to 2, and p we can initialize it as 1. So 1 into 2, it will be just simply 2. And then we are going to multiply 2 with 3, and 2 with 3 we are going to get 3 to the 6. Then we are going to multiply it with 4, then we are going to get 24. So here for first element we have found our element to be 24. And next we are going to do the same step with 2. The first we are going to start with 1, then our product 1 into 1, it will be 1, then it will come to 2, then we don't have to find this, so we are going to skip to 3, then 1 into 3 it will be 3, and then 3 into 4 is going to be 12. Like this we can do, but here the time complexity of 2 loops will make it as the complexity of big O of n square. But that is not the approach that is expectable on any of these websites, and if any of these high-level companies are asking you this question, they are not going to consider this n square solution. So the better approach can be, okay, let us take our example 1, 2, 3 and 4. First what we can do, we can just loop through our array once, only one time, and we are going to keep finding the product of our array, like 1 into 2 into 3 into 4, it will be equal to 24. So we can find this 24 in a big O of n solution. And then what we can do, we can use another array, and we can just keep on dividing this, like 24 divided by 1. So 24 divided by 1 will be 24. Then we are going to do 24 divided by 2, then 24 divided by 2, it is going to be 12. Then 24 divided by 3, it is going to be 8. And 24 divided by 4 is going to be 6. And like this, we can find this array. But in our question, it is given that we are not allowed to use the division. So as here you can see in our question, please note it without division and in big O of n time. So we have to solve it without this technique and in big O of n time. So the next approach to this solution is not too easy to understand, but if you are going to pay attention, it is going to be easy. So let me show you. Let us take our array 1, 2, 3 and 4. So first what we can do, so if we want to just find the product of this element, we have to just know the product from here to here and the product from here to here. So what we can do, we can just loop through our array once and keep on saving the product. Like here we can keep on saving our answer in our final array, and we are going to keep on multiplying, like 1 into, first it is 1, so we are going to keep it 1, then 1 into 2, it is be the 2. So means what this is basically doing, that till here the product is 2, then we are going to 3 into 2, it is going to be 6, and till here the product is 6, then 6 4 are 24, and till here the product is 24. Like this we can simply keep it in our array an, and we would have done this. But we also want to keep the track when we are moving from this direction to this direction. So for that, what we are going to do, we are going to simply loop this array from the reverse direction like this. Then what we are going to do for this 4, so for this 4 we know that till here, like 1 2 3, the array production was this 6, so we can simply keep in our array here, we are going to remove this 24 and we are going to save it 6. So we know that here till this it was 6, so we simply copied this 6 here. The next thing what we are going to do for this 3, the things are going to be a little bit trickier. So for 3 we know that till here we have this 2, so 1 into 2, it is 2 and it is stored here. Then we are going to keep the 2 here, and in our product variable p, we are going to take a product variable p, and it is going to store this 4, like p into, which p is already initialized to 1, you can know it, p into 4, and it is 4. So here what we are going to do, we are going to simply multiply this 4 into 2. So this product variable is responsible to keep a track from this side to this side, and from this side to this side we already have the track from this array that we created at first. So what we are going to do, we are going to do 2 into 4, which is going to be 8, and this is stored here. And the next step for 2, we know that the product till here is 1, and then we are going to move from this direction to this direction. What we are going to do, we are going to have this like from 4 into 3, so we have to store this 2. So for p into 4, then p have already be 4, and then we are going to simply add this element 2 in our multiplication, so it will be 4 into 3, it is going to be 12. And for 2 we know that till here we have 1, so we are simply going to multiply 1 into 12, and it is going to be 12, like this. And then what we are going to do, we are going to update our product from 4 into 3, we have done 4 into 3, then we are going to multiply this 2 also, then product will be 24, 12 into 2 is 24, then we have the 24 here, and in 1 we can simply see that there is no element left here, so we are going to simply copy this element here in 24. So this solution, you can see that first we are simply creating our array by multiplying all the elements, and this is going to take just big of n time. And then what we are doing, we are basically looping through our array in reverse order, and we are just saving a variable p, which is responsible to keep a track from backward to the forward direction, and this process is also going to take just big O of n time. So we have successfully obtained a time complexity of big O of n solution, and the space complexity is also just big O of n. We are not using any extra space. This is our answer array, which we are basically going to return. And let me just quickly summarize what we have done here. So we took the array 1 2 3 and 4, then what we did, then we just formed a calculation, like first we are going to take this 1 as it is, the first element will always be as it is, then we are simply going to multiply this 1 into 2, it is consecutive multiplication, 1 into 2 it is going to be 2, then 2 into 3 like this, 2 into 3 it is going to be 3 and the 3 to 6, then 6 into 4 it is going to be 24. And once we have formed this array, what we can basically do, let me remove it. Till here this array is showing that what is in our left hand side, and we are keeping a product variable p, which is just going to keep a track for all the multiplication from the end to the first. So the next step we are going to do, for 4 we know that till here our multiplication was 6, so we are simply pasting this 6 here. Then we are moving forward, and before moving forward we are initializing our product to this 4. So this 4 is copied here, 4, then we are at 3, and for 3 what we are simply going to do, till here it is 2 as you can see, and then we are simply going to multiply it with our product variable. So 4 into 2, it is going to be 8, so we are simply going to store 8 here. And for 2, when we are at 2, what we are simply going to do, after moving to 2, we are simply going to update our product variable. We are simply going to do 4 into 3, which is going to be 12. So till here we know that it is 12. From this direction it is 12, and from this direction we can simply know it is just 1. So it is just 1, so it will be just 12 here. It is just 12 here. Then what we are going to do, as the first element we can see that it is 4 into 3 into 2. So it multiplied 4 into 3, then it multiplied 4 into 2. So 4 into 3 into 2, then it is going to be 24, and we are simply storing 24. Let's see our code, and that will make more sense. So here we are on leetcode, and you can access this question. The link will be provided in the description below. Here we are using array mul, which is just going to multiply our array from left to right. And then what we are going to do, we are going to just append the first element of our array as it is. As you can see here, we have to just simply copy paste this element. We don't have to touch this element. And then for I in range, then we are simply looping through our array from this direction. So from this direction we are simply looping through our array, and then we are simply multiplying and appending our result to our array in our answer. And then we are simply copying, like answer of -1 is equal to answer of -2. So this line, what it is basically doing is, it is basically copying pasting this line. So -1 means the last index, and this is -2. So of this array it have to take the -2 of this array. So this is what this line is basically going to do, and the product is equal to num -1, and this is basically going to initialize our product to this array. It will be 4. Then we are looping through in a reverse direction from the length -2 to -1, and our steps are negative. This is basically to just loop through our array in a negative direction. And if I is greater than 0, this is just to prevent our boundary case. We are doing temp is equal to answer of I -1 into the product. What we are doing here, so at here we are at 3. We are starting our loop from 1 less than, so we are starting our loop at 3. Then answer -1 is going to be this 2, and we are simply multiplying our 2 with our 4, so it is going to be 8, and like this it is going to continue on. And then if I is equal to 0, means we have reached to our very first element. Then what we are going to do, we are simply going to keep our product as here. So we are simply adding our product as our first element, and we can simply return product into num. This is basically going to keep the track of the product variable that we see there, and we can simply return our answer. And once you are going to simply click on the submit code. Okay, let us submit our code and see how fast our code is. So here our code ran 85% faster than any other Python code. So this was the solution, and I hope that you finally learned something new. And this was a question asked in Facebook and Goldman Sachs. So this was it for this video. Thanks for watching, and please do subscribe to our channel.